So let us revise questions on cell specialization. So that is the main reason for this video. Okay, so before we start, let me just give you some cell specialized cells that you need to know. Okay, so some of the specialized cells that you need to know that we might not go or come across the question here. One of them is the muscle cell. So the muscle cell is for specialized cells, so you need to know this. Sperm cells, sperm cell. Then we have what we call palisade cell. So I'm just listing all the specialized cells, possible ones or common ones. Then the other one is the phloem cell. So we have the phloem cell, we have the xylem cell, we have the nerve cell, we have the other one that we can look at, we have the red blood cell, we have the white blood cell. Okay, so these are some of them. So please, you need to make sure that before you go in an exam, you know all these. So let us look at the question. So the question that we have reads, figure 1.1 shows different types of specialized cells. So as you can see, there are three cells here, A, B, C, or A, B, and C. The first question is identify A, B, and C. So the first question we are identifying. Now, when you are asked to identify, you are going to give the names of the cells. So let us identify cell A. So what is the name of the cell A? So now, like I said, for you to identify these cells, you might have studied them or you know them. So you can't identify something that you do not know. So of course, this first cell is the red blood cell. And why do I say it's a red blood cell? Look at this. It has a disc shaped, okay, or a halo in the middle there. Okay, so that makes helps me to identify it as the red blood cell, the way it is appearing like this form. Okay, so this one is the red blood cell. Okay, so that is the cell A, red blood cell. What about B? What about B? It's a palisade cell. Okay, a typical plant cell. So palisade cell. Then what about C? C is called the sperm cell. What made me to identify it or to know that it's a sperm cell? One, it has the tail, and of course it has the head here, okay? And of course here it has a large nucleus. Okay, so let us look at the second question, which is state the parts of the living organisms in which these are found. Where are these found? So this one is found in blood. This one is found in leaves, okay? In the palisade tissues or palisade tissue in the leaves. Then this one is found in the testes, okay? Or the epidermis. They are produced in the testes. Then explain how cell B and C are adapted to their functions. Okay, so B and C are adapted to their function. Now, when you talk of adaptation, we look at special features that these cells have that enable them to perform their function. So for you to give the adaptation, you simply have to know their functions. So if you don't know their functions, then you cannot give the adaptation, because the adaptation should be relatable to the function. For example, this one carry out the process of photosynthesis. Now, what does it have that enable it to carry out the process of photosynthesis? So you find that B has the presence of, okay, chloroplast. So it has chloroplast which contain chlorophyll, okay, contain chlorophyll. So it has numerous chloroplasts that contain chlorophyll, and of course the chlorophyll is used for the process of photosynthesis. So that is the special feature that it has. All these that you are seeing are chloroplasts. So these are chloroplasts, so numerous of them, okay, numerous of them, so that it can trap much energy, or it can trap, light energy. Okay, then what is the other one? The adaptation for C. So for C, what is the function? So you know that it's a male gamete. It's a male gamete. that fuse or that meets with a female gamete to so that fertilization can occur. Okay, so it is the sperm and the ovum or the egg that fuse to form a zygote, that is a fertilized egg. And of course, afterward, that is where young ones come from, or that is how mammals, or yes, commonly mammals reproduce. Okay, so that is its function. Now, where does reproduction take place? I mean, where does fertilization take place? So if you know where the fertilization takes place, then you are able to tell, and of course, its function. So now, what is the adaptation that it has? So it has one, it has the tail, okay, to move toward the egg. So it follows the egg. So has a tail, not only a tail, but a long tail, to help it move towards the what? The egg, or you can say the ovum. So that is the adaptation that it has, one. Then the other adaptation is that it has numerous mitochondria. It has a lot of mitochondria, and you know that mitochondria provides energy. So it has a lot of mitochondria to provide energy. A lot of mitochondria to provide energy. Energy to do what? So that it can move toward the egg. Okay, so those are some of the adaptation, or that is what we can basically look at under this. So please be able to put up your answers. Feel free to look at some more answers to these, but this is just an eye-opener that you really need this part. Okay, let us look at the second part, which is this question. And of course, it says, Figure 2.0 shows the cells taken from the vascular tissue in plants, or in a plant. So you already, at least you have a clue that this one is coming from a plant. Now, the first question is, identify the specialized cells in figure 2.0. This is the figure 2.0, or this is the cell in figure 2.0. So what is this cell? So this is called the phloem. The phloem what? Cell. Now, the second question is that name one feature in figure 2.0 which enable you to identify the specialized cells A1 above. So what makes you identify this cell that you said in A1 above is the phloem? What made you to identify it? So it is this cell, okay, this part that is attached to it, and that is what we call the companion cell. Okay, so I've identified it because of the companion cell. The companion cell. Okay, and of course you can look at maybe these other parts such as the sieve plate, the cytoplasmic strands, the sieve tubes and all that. But the most prominent is this part, the companion cell. Which letter on figure 2.0 correspond to the following structures? One, the nucleus. Which of the features here, or which of the letters here is the nucleus? So it happened to be that the nucleus is this one, or rather the nucleus is A. So the nucleus is A. Okay, this dotted part here is the nucleus, and normally it's found on the companion cell. Then, what about the cytoplasm? So look at this one. This one is not going up to the inside there, it's just outside. So the whole of this B is a companion cell. So the cytoplasm is this one, D. It is not pointing at this strand, but here, okay, within here. So the cytoplasm is what? D, not B. Give two functions of cell B. Cell B, I said, is the companion cell. Now, what is the function of the companion cell? So let me just bring you here, and of course give the functions of the companion cell. So provides energy in form of what? In form of ATP. What is ATP? It's a storage form of energy, adenosine triphosphate, and enzymes. So provides energy in form of ATP and enzymes. ATP is adenosine triphosphate, which is just a storage form of energy. Then what about the other one that we can look at? The other one we can say loading sucrose, which is sugar and amino acids, of course. Okay, so you can just say even loading sucrose onto the sieve tube, loading sucrose into the sieve elements. Okay, into the sieve elements. That is one of the function of the what? The companion cell. Then of course the other one, okay, we are given two. All right, so please get to look at some more functions if you can. All right, let us look at C question. So we're just answering B question. Let us look at C question. With reference to the specialized cells, name the process by which the substance are transported in the specialized cells. So in reference, name the process in reference to the specialized cell. Which specialized cell? This one. By what process are the substance transported? Now, for you to know the phloem, in case we didn't give the function of phloem, it transports manufactured food, okay, or it transports organic materials. So now, by what process? So by the process called translocation. So translocation, we're just looking at the transport of material from the source to the part where they are needed, where they are in less concentration. For example, the phloem moves the manufactured food in plants, the sugar, from the leaves to all parts of the plants where they are needed, of course, where they are in less concentration. And that is what we call translocation. Suggest the two substances transported by the specialized cells. What are the two substances transported by the specialized cells? So we have one, sucrose or sugar, then also amino acids. So these are some of the substances that we can say they are transported by the specialized cell, that is the phloem cell. So next time you find the question, I hope you won't forget. All right, up to the next question. So the next question is this one, and this, if you are to look at it, is the detailed one. So let us look at this one. They say figure 1.1 shows an animal cell as seen under an electron microscope. So this is an advanced kind of a microscope where you see the detailed part of it. So now this is an animal cell. Now the detailed one. The first question is identify the part F and G. Where is F? So F is right here. So according to where it is pointing here, this one is pointing right here on these parts. And these are called rough endoplasmic reticulum. So I'll just write rough ER. Okay, let me just write it in full. Rough endoplasmic reticulum. So, because why are they called rough endoplasmic reticulum? They have the presence of ribosomes on the surface. But of course, we have also two types of ER. We have the smooth one and the rough one. The smooth one does not have ribosomes. Okay, does not have ribosomes. If at all is written, if it's written like this. Okay. Then what about G? So G is pointing right here. I guess it's pointing here, though not clear. But the possible there, if it is pointing where there's this, that is called nuclear membrane. Okay, nuclear membrane. But of course, if it is pointing at the opening, it is called nuclear pore. But inside here is called nucleolus, and this dark part here is called, inside here is called nuclear plasm. Then this inside part, the dark one, is called nucleolus. Okay, so that is something that you should take note of. Okay, so question B, explain the functions of the parts labeled H and G. I, what are the parts? For you to give the function, you need first to know them. So H right here is called, that is H right here is a sausage-like structure That is the description, of course. Now, what is the name of the part that you are able to see right here? Okay, so the part that you are able to see, it is called the mitochondria. So H is called the let me just write it nicely. So mitochondria. A plural of them is called mitochondria, but singular is called the mitochondrion. So we are going to write, since it's pointing at one, it's called the mitochondrion. Then now, have we given the function? Really? No, we've just identified the part. Like I said, you identify the part first, and of course that is where you can give the function. So what is the function of mitochondria? The function of the mitochondrion is just the that is the place where respiration takes place. Okay, so in terms of writing, you can say that is where respiration take place. And of course, because that is where respiration take place, provides energy to the what? To the cell. So it's the one that provides energy to the cell. Okay, then I, what about I? So I, look at this, is the outer part of the cell, and this is called the cell membrane. Now, what is the function of the cell membrane? So for the cell membrane, it controls the materials or substances that enters and leaves the cell. It controls the materials that enters, or the substances that enters and leaves the cell. Now, don't say it is selectively permeable. That is not its function. That is the adaptation. So the function, it controls the materials that enters and of course leaves the cell. But if you are given an adaptation, or given a question to give an adaptation, is that, or what enables it to control the materials entering or leaving, it is that it is selectively permeable. So the cell membrane also, you need to know that it's selectively what? Permeable. Permeable. So the cell membrane, you need to know that it is selectively what? Permeable. Sometimes you might find the question, maybe that is asking you, so that is asking you, what determines the permeability of the cell membrane? Or what does it mean the cell membrane is selectively permeable? So this means that it allows some substance to enter, and of course does not allow other substances to enter. Now that is based on the size of the substances. Small substances, that's as oxygen, carbon dioxide, and of course water, are able to enter and of course leave the cell freely, but large materials such as urea, other substances, they are not able to enter or leave the cell. Okay, so that is what permeability or selectively permeable means. Okay, so the permeability of the cell depends on the size of the materials that are entering. If they are large enough, or if they are large, they cannot enter, but those that are smaller, they are able to move freely, such as oxygen, carbon dioxide, and of course water. So that is, I just thought of explaining that so that you know even that part. Very important. Then suggest the two cells which would be present if it was a plant cell. Suggest the two parts that would be present if it was a plant cell. So here is just a part, just give the parts that differentiate the plant cell and animal cell. So if this was the plant cell, what other parts that would be there? One, the cell wall. You'd have the cell wall. Two, you have the chloroplast. So there will be chloroplast. Okay, then the other one you'd find the vacuole. So n of these parts, or two. Okay, so n of the two. All right. Okay, so up to this other question. So the question reads, figure 1.1 and figure 1.2 shows a specialized cell E and F. Identify the cell labeled F in figure 2.1 or 2.2. So they are asking us to identify this cell. Now, how do you identify this cell? So like I said, you need to have, study all these specialized cells, and I've given a list to these cells. Okay, so the cell here now is called the phagocyte. is called the phagocyte. It's a kind of white blood cell. White blood cell. Okay, so we cannot put a white blood cell because there are two of them that we can look at, phagocyte and lymphocyte. But this one is a phagocyte, and of course, I'm sure the question that follows, what made me to identify it? So, the second question is that, what feature in the diagram enables you to identify the cell F? It has a robbed nucleus. Look at this is a nucleus. So, because of the robbed nucleus, I was able to identify it. So, robbed nucleus made me to identify the cell, robbed nucleus. Give one function of the part labeled G. Now, if you were to look at this cell, because the part labeled G is right here, if you were to look at this cell, this one or this cell is called ciliated cell. Okay, so this is a ciliated cell. Now, these parts that you are looking at, these are cytoplasmic extension that we can, or that are called cilia. So you have the cilia here, and now the question is that what is the function of the cilia? That is the question. Okay, so the function of the cilia, or the function of the cilia that we can look at here, is that the cilia helps to move or to remove trapped dust particles in the it has different functions, please. So allow me to give the function of let me first start indicating that the ciliated cells, they are found one in the oviduct, that is of a female reproductive organs, and of course also in the lining of the respiratory tract. So the function depends on now where it is found. So let me give the function on the respiratory tract. So in the respiratory tract, it traps the dust particles that might have entered with the air. Okay, so it traps the dust particles, and of course it removes the dust particles that might have entered with air during breathing in. Then what about in the oviduct? So in the oviduct, it moves the ovum or the egg toward the fallopian tube, or it pushes toward the uterus, so that fertilization, or so that it can meet the sperm. Okay, so that is those are the two basic functions. So the function depends on which part you are dealing with. So you can give any of those, and of course the mark will be given since the question was open. Okay, then the figure, that is B. Figure 1.1 shows group of similar cells. What term is given to refer to such a group of cells? So that is the definition of a tissue. So group of similar cells, or cells that are similar in structure and all that, is called a tissue. Group of tissues is called organ. Group of organ called a system. A system makes up an organism. So that is cell organization. Then we have to, let us move to B2, Roman numeral 2. Suggest a region in human body where feature 1.1 is found. So now we've come to the features where 1.1 is found. We said, they are saying here in human, give one function, give region in human body where feature 1.1 is found. So, in the human body, you can choose to put respiratory tract, or the oviduct in women. Okay? Then give one function of part labeled G. Have we answered this question? It's more like a repetition. Huh? Give one function of the part labeled G in figure 4. Okay, so this one is quite more like a repetition. You know what happened? Okay, state 2 specialized cells found in plants. So in plant, you find the parasite cell as one of the specialized cell. Then you find phloem cell as one of the specialized cell. So also, let me just put it here, phloem cell, the xylem cell. You can also give the root hair cell. Even this one is found, root hair cell also is found in plants. So quite a number. For one named the specialized cells above, explain its function. So I can choose to pick any of these. Parasite cell, we've discussed it previously, so we're going to spare it. Phloem, we've discussed, we're going to spare it. The xylem, we can give any of these two. Let us just give the two, the functions for the two. So the xylem conduct water and mineral salt. That is the function. The root hair cell, absorption of water and mineral salt. So there's a different conducting and absorbing. So xylem, conduct water and mineral salts. Then the root hair cell absorb water and mineral salts. And where are they found? This root hair cell is found right at the tip of the roots. So that is basically what you need to know. So please take note of that. Up to this question, let us look at this question. So figure 1.0 shows specialized cell P, Q, and R. Name each of the cells above, that is P, Q, R. So we are going to name the cells. So what is cell A? What is cell B? And what is, oh, we are not, they are not A, B, C. Okay, so what is cell P? What is cell Q? What is cell R? So look at this. I said it, others are going to confuse it for the sperm cell because of this outgrowth or elongation. But I can assure you that this is the root hair cell. This is how it appears. This is the root hair cell. Okay, then this one is called the red blood cell. As you can see, it's more like a donut. Okay, it has a disc shape. As you can see, it has halo in the middle there. So it's called a red blood cell. Then what about this one? It's a typical plant cell. This is called the palisade. Palisade what? Cell. Okay. This one is found in the blood, in case there's a question that is going to ask us about that. This one is found in the what? Leaves. Okay. And some parts of, green parts of the plant. Then this one is found at a tip of what? Tip of roots. That is where you find these parts. Okay. State the function of P and Q. What is the function of P and Q? What is our P, or what is P? P is a root hair cell. Previously, we were just from looking at this. So this one, absorption of water and mineral salts. So I'm just using this for the sake of explaining, but you're going to write and when presenting your answer. Then what about Q? Is it Q? Yes. What about Q? Transport or transporting, this one transporting of oxygen, and small amount of carbon dioxide. That is the function. Then now let us look at, that is B2. Okay, no, B we are done. C. Where in the leaf is the cell R located? So cell R, we are saying is found in the leaves or in the leaf. Now where is it located? So it's found in the, just down the epidermis, okay? So it is found in what we call palisade mesophyll. So that is where you find it. The palisade mesophyll, that is where you find this one, okay? So that's where you find these cells. All right. Then what about this one? So just a repetition of what we've looked at. Figure 1.0 shows the plant cell. Name the part labeled A, B, C. So the part labeled, this one is the nucleus. As you can see, it's dark part, the dark part here. So this one is called the nucleus. This one is called, I can see it's in the middle. So cell membrane. If I've missed it there in terms of diagram, can be the cell wall. You know that if it's in the space here is cell wall. But if it's extending up to this cell membrane, then the outer part is cell wall still. Then this one is called the vacuole. So this one is the vacuole. Don't say the vacuole. So the question that is A of 2, A2, name the organ in which the figure 1.0 is found and give a reason for your answer. So it is found in leaves or in the leaf. Now what is the reason? It carry out what? Carry out photosynthesis. Okay? We said the palisade cell contain chloroplast, which helps to carry out what? Photosynthesis. Or maybe let me say, the reason why it is found in the leaves, it contain chlorophyll. It contain chloroplast, Let me not say chlorophyll because okay, it contain chloroplast, which carry out photosynthesis. Okay, helps in the photosynthesis. Then describe how the adaptation, describe two adaptation of the figure point 2, that is cell in figure point 10, that is 1.0, which enable it to carry out its function. So one, it contain what? Contain numerous what? Chloroplasts, okay, for photosynthesis. Then it is long vertically than horizontally. Now how is this one even related? So when there's high light intensity, the chloroplasts migrate to the bottom part. So when there's high light intensity here, or there's a lot of light, the chloroplasts migrate down here. And of course, when there's minimal light, they move up here. So this one prevent the chloroplasts from being damaged. Okay, prevents chloroplasts being damaged. Okay, so it is horizontal, it is long vertically and than horizontally. Okay, so this one enables the chloroplast to migrate when there's high light intensity, and that prevents the chloroplast from being damaged. Explain what would happen to the cell in above if it was placed in the tube containing distilled water. Now, what kind of solution is water? So water is hypertonic, hypotonic, okay? Is it just or here? Hypotonic solution. Now, hypotonic solution is the one that is dilute, okay, compared to the inside cell. So what is going to happen is that a cell will absorb what? Water. And of course, the plant cell, remember, it does not undergo lysis, instead it becomes turgid. So the cell will absorb water and becomes what? Turgid. Okay, and of course, you need to know the function, the importance of cell turgidity. Okay, so the cell will absorb water, or the water will move into the cell. That is another explanation that you can give. I hope that part is clear. Okay, what about here now, the other question? Figure 1 shows different types of specialized cells. So as we can see from here, some of these we've already looked at them. For example, this first one is called the nerve cell, though we've not looked at it. This one is a root hair cell, we've looked at it. And this one is a ciliated what? Cell. Okay, so even the questions that we are going to find, they are familiar. Identify cell A, B, C. So, like I've done already, nerve cell, so we can just write here, nerve cell. Then here, B, root hair cell. Then for this one, C, ciliated cell. Okay, so 3 marks for that. State the part of the living organism in which the specialized cell B and C are normally found. So where are the parts B and C found? So this one, they are found in the respiratory tract, of which I had given this already, respiratory tract or oviduct. Then this one C, B and C. Oh, this one is for, okay, so I've swapped these. So please, this one is for C. This is the solution for C. Then for B, this one is found in the root, okay? In the root part of, the root. That is where you find this. Okay, at the tip of the root, that is where you find this. So, in the roots, that is where you find this. Explain the function of each of the cells in the above. Okay? What about the A, which is nerve cell? So this one is transmission of electric impulse. Okay? Transmission of electric impulse. There are different types of nerve cells. We have what we call motor, we have what we call sensory, we have what we call intermediate. What about this other one, which is B? B is a root hair cell, absorption of water and mineral salt. This one is the one that is in direct contact with what? The ground. Okay? So it absorbs water and mineral salt directly from the ground. Then what about C? C, we said it has two functions. We can look at what it perform, what function it performs in the oviduct and of course in the respiratory tract, of which I explained that already. So in the respiratory tract, it traps or remove trapped, if that is how trapped is written. So removed trapped dust particles, okay, containing, or remove, let me just put something here. I've forgotten one word. So remove mucus containing trapped dust particles. Okay. Then the other one, in terms of the oviduct, so it moves the egg towards the uterus. Okay, so it moves the egg toward the uterus. So these are functions that we can look at in terms of that. Okay, then let us look at this one. So for this, I'm sure it's not that clear, but we can still look at them. So these are just simple. So this is the current, I think this one came in 20, just last year. The figure that is 1.1, was it 11? Okay. Two specialized or generalized cells, F and G, of an organism. Identify the parts labeled H. So the part labeled H is the one that is here, and please, this is an animal cell. The first one is an animal cell, and this is what? A plant cell. So in this case, identifying the part labeled H, that is just a cell membrane. Okay, so that is cell membrane. Okay, that's cell membrane. So here you can write cell membrane. It's a cell, it's a part labeled H. How does part H differ from I? I is this one, it's the cell wall. Then H is here. So how does it differ? In terms of their makeup, H, which is the cell membrane is made up of proteins and lipids. So that is in terms of what they are made up of. Then whereas I is made up of cellulose. So this one is made up of cellulose, and this one is made up of what? Proteins and lipids. If that is the case, explain the function of structure labeled J. What is the function of a structure labeled J? Now, which one is J? It's the vacuum. So in short, they are asking us to give the function of the vacuum. Now, for you to know, the vacuum is prominent or is large in plant cell. Okay, now it contains what we call cell sap. This is just a solution of sugar, salt, and what? And water. Now, this one regulate the amount or the movement of water in and out of the cell. So for example, if the cell is the cell sap is more concentrated, the cell will need to absorb more water. If it's dilute, it will compared to the outward solution, it will lose water. To which group of living organisms does cell F belong? So cell F, which one is cell F? So to which part of living organism belong to animal cells? Okay,